It's late 1998 and things in WCW's tag team scene aren't going gangbusters, but you could always hope WCW would turn its tag team division around, and heading into 1999, I think there was a reason for optimism.
Maybe, except the WCW World Tag Team Champions at this point are none other than Rick Steiner and Judy Bagwell, who is not a trained wrestler. She is a mother of Buff Bagwell, and she's not teaming with Buff Bagwell either, which is also weird. I'm not even going to get into why Judy Bagwell is the tag team champion with Rick Steiner. It doesn't really matter, because by the end of 1998 going into 1999, it's not even mentioned anymore that she is the tag team champion, or really the tag team championships aren't really mentioned at all.
The rule is that if you don't defend your title within 30 days, you got to decide on a new way to decide new tag team champions.
Well, I mean, maybe there's like a solution to get us new tag team champions. If it's not Steiner and Bagwell, what could WCW do to get us a new pair of champs?
They could have done like a battle royal. Hell, they could have just taken the titles and just given it to somebody. But instead, we're awarded a tournament.
Hey. Tournaments are some of the best things around in wrestling. We here at Special Guest Referee, we've covered some of the best, the worst, the weirdest tournaments before. Well, I guess this means I know what we're doing in this video. We're talking about the 1999 WCW Tag Team Tournament. Let me tell you, I'm pretty excited because you look at all the wrestlers WCW had in early 1999. It's a stacked lineup. You got the outsiders, of course, but, you know, Mysterio and Kidman have been teaming. There's just a lot of guys around. And, you know, WCW and Tag Team Tournament, well, let's not talk about lethal lotteries or anything like that, but I'm hopeful that this is going to be our savior, starting off strong with the tag team belts and the tag team tournament in 99.
What on God's great earth?
Oh, how wrong you are. The 1999 WCW World Tag Team Tournament is everything you hate about 1999 WCW and pretty much wrestling as a whole. It's so horribly convoluted. It's confusing, unnecessarily long. Double elimination car crash in which you will never see a bracket on television, and no one seems to have any idea of what's happening throughout the entire tournament.
I am going to stop you right there. You're just being too negative. You're just doing what everyone does when it comes to WCW in 99 and 2000. It's all terrible. It's all bad. What I see right here is a company trying to showcase young, up-and-coming teams that could work, because that was what this tournament was kind of framed as. It was going to be this tournament where we showcase wrestling on our one good show, and then that other thing we put on occasionally, that Thunder is just whatever. But we're going to get some long matches. We're going to get teams fighting it out, high stakes. I don't think you need to be negative here. I think WCW is on to something.
Okay, fine. I don't want to be negative about it, but I feel like by the end of this video, you're going to be very negative about this tournament.
I think you're going to be mistaken on that, but...
Well, you know what? Let's just start the bit.
Okay. So, well, the tournament starts on January 7th, an episode of Thunder. This is where we get, I would say, the genesis of the new and improved WCW Tag Team Tournament.
The tournament to decide a new World Tag Team Champion.
Oh, really? Is that what they're doing? Are they setting up this tournament? Oh, let's see what happened on that first night. We get a match, and oh, look, the Outsiders interfered, and so did the NWO and completely ruined the match.
You know, the NWO comes out, and I actually think they have some very valid points. They talk about how great they are, and they talk about how they're the unbeaten, uncrowned tag team champions of WCW. And
wait a second. Wait a second. They haven't even been a team for like 6 months in 1998. They broke up in like June.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that. But anyway, first night of the tournament, a bit of a rough start. I will cede that to you. Things did not get off to the best, but we have a winner. A team's advancing. But even right now, I actually don't remember what team it was. But hey, we got the Outsiders, so star power in this tournament. So the next up is January 14th.
Things are changing. The tag team tournament is taking place.
We get another tag team tournament, and this one is completely different than the last one.
Wait, were you watching this? They did interfere. They all interfered and ruined the match again.
Just like they said last Thursday, there will be no tournament.
Anyway, they go into the next week, January 21st on Thunder. Apparently, the NWO is in the tournament because the B team's in the tournament, which is another storyline we're not even going to go into because we could go on to that for like an hour. But anyway, they have like a 9-minute match, and then Vincent interferes with a stupid slapjack, ruins the match. So again, another match in this stupid tournament that is ruined again.
Because Hall and Nash are the uncrowned champions, and we need to recognize that these first few matches haven't gone so well. There's been only interference from the NWO. The teams haven't been good. Anyway, Ric Flair is he's commissioner again, and he's going to put his foot down because he's been talking about bringing prestige back to WCW. He's been talking about, we're going to be the company that has great tag team wrestling with teams like Bobby Duncum and that other guy. And I believe him. So when Flair comes out on the next episode of Thunder, he's restarting the tournament. We're going to do this again.
There will be a tournament to establish who the World Tag Team Champions are. They will be World Championship Wrestling Tag Team Champions.
And this time, it's double elimination. So all of those interference cases, there's going to be a fallback option, a safety net. And what does every great wrestling tournament, what does every great postseason sporting tournament have? A safety net.
A tag team tournament for the tag team titles.
But it wasn't just a safety net for the losers. Ric Flair decided that he was going to take any guff from the NWO, although that plan kind of backfires him. We actually covered that episode of Nitro. You can check that out in the video somewhere on your screen. But anyway, Ric Flair's like, I got a great idea. So what he does is he makes the next tournament match a lumberjack match, not to keep competitors in the ring, but he describes it as a wall of man to keep people out of the ring.
Flair is bringing a human wall of wrestlers to surround the ring.
And, we get a match between the Faces of Fear, Dave Taylor, Fit Finlay. This is going to be a great match. And with all the lumberjacks there, no one can possibly interfere or ruin it. This wall of men Flair set up, it was successful. There was no interference. And the Faces of Fear have some good moves, some hard-hitting action, and we get their pretty cool finisher, and we finally have a tag team match that goes to completion. I dare you to find something wrong in that match.
Well, number one, the lumberjacks weren't really doing what they're supposed to do, which is when somebody falls outside, you're supposed to put them back in the ring. They literally stand there like this without touching anybody. You're allowed to interfere. That's what the point of the job is.
No, not a wall of man. You need to think about this from Flair's perspective. Psychology, huh?
Okay, what about the end here, where they do their really cool finish, where it's basically a back body drop into a power bomb, and Finley's standing in the ring, maybe 5 feet away, with his back turned to the action, doesn't want to stop the finisher from happening on his opponent, and then the referee manages to turn around, count to 3, before Finley can turn around to, stop the pin from happening.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it because we got another episode of Thunder coming up. So it's Thunder. Flair's got this tournament under control, and we're supposed to have a match featuring Van Hammer in Wrath, but there's some backstage shenanigans. Disco's back there doing whatever he did around this time. Hall and Nash come out. There's a tag tournament match. We get an announcement. So the Outsiders facing Bobby Duncum Jr. and Mike Enos. And this is just one of those matches that I'm going to tell my grandkids. I remember when the Outsiders fought Bobby Duncum Jr. and Mike Enos on an episode of 1999 Thunder. The match itself, 2-ish minutes, but the Outsiders win and they are moving on. Although technically, they aren't supposed to be in the tournament, but they are in the tournament because Flair was too busy to be on Thunder, basically everyone at WCW at various points in history. But yeah, we have a big name, we have a winner, and there's no stopping the tournament now.
Yeah, the tournament is in full swing, I guess. And oh, look, here's Henning and Wyndham, and they just arrive at Nitro, and now they're in the tournament.
You and I as a tag team, there's no stopping us. We're in the tournament. Why not just take the belts and walk?
I guess it's framed as Nash and Hall don't want them in it, but they are in it for some reason. There's some sort of revenge plot going on here too with Henning and NWO, and I'm not really sure how Wyndham is involved in this either. I'm just very confused.
But you know what it really does? It brings us one step closer to Hall and Nash.
You know, you think you're thinking too much into this because I'm just here for good tag team wrestling, man. You don't need to worry about the storylines or any of that. Anyway, we get another match on Nitro. It's Benoit and Malenko versus Henning and Wyndham. That sounds pretty good, right?
So the match is pretty good, I guess. Henning and Wyndham versus Malenko and Benoit. It's hard for them to have a bad match. I mean, they would face each other again at the pay-per-view at the end of this tournament. Spoiler alert.
Hey, no, spoiler alert. We'll get there. Like, we've got so many other matches to get to. Double elimination. Come on.
All right, I guess. Anyway, during this whole thing, the announcers are trying to do this storyline. If Henning wins, then it's going to upset the Wolfpack because the Wolfpack are in the tournament. But they don't care about being in the tournament, right? So I don't know why they would care.
Well, the good news is Hall and Nash aren't going to like the outcome of this one.
Henning's out of the NWO. He wants revenge on the NWO, and he's going to get it through the tournament, which Hall and Nash may or may not be a part of. Do you keep up with all of that?
No, but let's just keep going.
Okay, so we get another episode of Thunder. We're steaming in the February. Another great episode of Thunder. Look, I can't even. I'm gonna level with you, Tim. I've been trying to put a brave face on this tournament, but this is like the one moment I can't even do this. We get with Faces of Veer versus the NWOB team. It's Brian Adams and Horace Hogan.
How long does this match go on for?
This goes on freaking 16 minutes. It's 16
At least 16
minutes.
years, it felt like.
Oh, and then the finish. The Faces of Fear, good team. They're solid, but like, Adams and Horace Hogan, they should not be doing this. And Vincent interferes with the slapjack that it looks like he's just hitting someone with like the insole of a shoe because it's that like floppy and weak. And then Horace Hogan proceeds to hit just the crappiest looking elbow drop I've ever done. See, I don't know what the hell he like lands and he's still standing and then he just falls down. Oh, I hated this match with like the passion of a million suns. I can't even justify this match.
Also, at some point during this catastrophe of a match, Shivani just randomly says the Wolfpack victory at Nitro didn't count.
Obviously, you may know that match did not count. It was thrown out.
What the hell does that mean? It doesn't count. So wait, nothing counts now? What is going on here?
When you're a dyed-in-the-wool WCW fan, you were checking the website and you were listening to the audio or whatever. You know, maybe it was on Worldwide. I don't know. But I think we all should have known that the Outsiders had been kicked out of the tournament by this point.
But like how? How would we know this? There is no bracket we still have not seen a bracket up to this point. We don't even know how many teams are in this tournament. We just keep randomly seeing teams in the ring having random matches. Also, we learned that apparently Mike Enos and Bobby Duncombe Jr. have advanced in this tournament, even though they lost while Wrath and Van Hammer, who didn't even get in the ring, are somehow eliminated from the match, and now they're in the losers bracket. Again, I'm confused and my brain hurts.
Can you say triple elimination?
No, because I don't think WCW could do that either.
There's another match on that night, and oh man, Bobby Duncombe Jr. He pulled out a Jeff Jarrett, and it wasn't quite a Jeff Jarrett.
It was like Jeff Jarrett if he somehow couldn't use his arms. That's what happened in this match.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what? We've seen a lot of tag team wrestling. We've seen teams win. We've seen teams lose. I can't give you an update. I just know it's all been awesome. It's all been super great. And look, we're going to crown a champion eventually. But let's just recap where we're at in this tag team tournament, because honestly, WCW has never bothered to recap the tournament for anyone up until this point. So we started.
I need a recap.
Okay, good. Well, good. So We started this tournament with Flair and the company wanting to bring prestige back to the tag team belt. He wasn't happy after the finger poke at Doom. You're not going to do that to a respected company like WCW. So it's all about dusting off the belt to carry on the legacy Rick Steiner and Judy Bagwell instead.
That's fine that he's trying to bring in prestige, but the first version, and I'm going to call it the first version of this tournament, has been ruined by the NWO, who vow it to, not end.
And it didn't end, and it didn't end thanks to Ric Flair and his visionary, his just thoughtful leadership, because he gives us the double elimination tournament. More matches, more fun for everyone, and it's impossible for the NWO to interfere in that many matches.
Okay, well then answer me this. Why are the Wolfpack in the tournament? They win a match, but in this next version of the tournament, they're not in it anymore.
Well, I'm going to answer that question with a very simple explanation I have for you. You might notice I'm trying to beat around the bush here. And there's no reason for that, because I'm going to be very direct with you right now. And that whole thing takes place is because Kurt Hennig and Barry Windham, they want to get revenge on Nash and Hall for being attacked only Kurt Hennig was attacked, but then Windham's like with them, and they're going to get revenge on the outside, all the NWO. They're going to get revenge through this tournament, even though they may not be in it anymore.
So now we are in the second version of this abomination of a tournament, but we still have no idea who's in it. We know that the Wolfpack aren't in it for some reason. The NWO B team are still in it somehow. Malenko and Benoit are in it, even though they lost a match. Mike Enos might show up again. The Faces of Fear, I guess, are in it. Dave Taylor, Finley, they're in it, right? I guess. I don't know.
All you need to know is that we're going to have new tag team champions, and you're eliminated after you've lost twice. You're eliminated. And if you win, you're not eliminated. And there's more outstanding matches. I don't even need to talk about how outstanding these matches are. We get an indeterminate amount of matches, each one better than the last, with the likes of Mike Enos and his replacement partner, Scotty Riggs, who's just allowed to swap in. And the B team just keeps having 15-minute matches, and we're all delighted. I dare you to be negative about anything that happened up until the final of the tournament.
You're right. I'm just too annoyed and upset to even continue talking about the rest of this tournament. The bracket looks like a bracket that you would find in like some college baseball tournament where there's a loser's bracket and it just keeps going and you have to keep extending the page. My mind hurts again. My brain is just melted from this tournament.
You just don't appreciate it. I like my wrestling tournaments like I like my youth softball tournaments, and that's highly convoluted and just a bunch of games being played and you don't know what's happening. But let's get to the final, right? Because the final, we get a rematch. It's Benoit and it's Malenko against Hennig and Windham. They had a good match earlier on, and there's stakes involved, right? Because not only are we talking about the prestigious WCW World Tag Team titles being won, being restored to prestigious levels not seen before since they were vacated like 19 different times in the past year. But the Four Horsemen, Malenko and Benoit, they're going to need to win twice because it is double elimination. So that means, well, you know what that means. I don't need to explain. I'm done explaining things to anyone. You get the idea here. So we get the first match. It goes a long time.
Yeah, it certainly goes a long time. It's on the pay-per-view as well, so they can go as long as they want. And unfortunately, there's no commercial break in between it to, break it up. The Four Horsemen win that one, so that means we get another match between the Four Horsemen and Windham and Hennig.
30-second rest period.
There's no break. They're just have another match. It's basically a 2 out of 3 falls match now, and then they continue doing it, and Hennig and Windham win, and now they're the tag champs.
I've tried to put a brave face on. Malenko and Benoit looked like such idiots here. I can't even pretend. You spend 20 minutes winning a match, and then your whole idea is we're going to beat up Hennig so bad in this rest period, but we're not going to pay attention to Windham, who's taking off his belt and choking, who's going to use it to choke Malenko out. I mean, it just felt like they Bill Bucknered this. Like they just choke this away. I give up. You win. I can't anymore.
You.
I tried. None of these matches were good. No one emerged better off in the tournament. And honestly, all things considered, push comes to shove, I would have just let Steiner and Bagwell kept being the champions, because that would have been much better than the story they ended up telling.
Yeah, it would have been so much fun to have Judy Bagwell walking around with the tag belts throughout the spring of 1999. I mean, it couldn't have been any worse than having the B team on television for 45 minutes every single show. So, you know what? Give me Judy Bagwell as the tag team champion, along with Rick Steiner or Scotty Riggs, or you can have her team with whoever the hell she wants. It would have been fun because, again, the tag belts meant absolutely nothing after like March of 1998.
And they are not going to mean anything after this, because Hennig and Wyndham lose to Benoit and Malenko at the next pay-per-view. Hennig gets his revenge by losing to Hogan in like 6 minutes on a random episode of Nitro. None of these stories pay off.
What Ric Flair said about his tag team tournament.
None of the teams in this tournament are doing anything remotely interesting. Hall and Nash are still teaming together on Super Brawl because they're in another match, so they could have been tagging here. There were a lot of things said about 1999 WCW and just the terrible things they did. And this tournament is as bad as any of them. We've covered, like I said, we've covered bad, we've covered weird, we covered good tournaments. This is one of the worst tournaments I've ever seen in all of wrestling. I hated everything about it. The worst part was trying to research this tournament because WCW did such a poor job of organizing it. It's so disjointed, disheveled, disconnected. You would have a hard time going back with all of the information we have in 2025, almost 2026. Even with all of that information and knowledge, you can still barely put the pieces of this puzzle back together. F this tournament, man.
This game is like, you know, you're building a Lego set and somebody comes in and just steps on it in the middle and the pieces just go everywhere. And now you have to somehow put it back together. You just have no idea. That this tournament is just a brain melt. And honestly, they have worse tournaments coming up in 1999 somehow. And they have an even worse idea for a tournament that involves the tag belts coming up later on in 1999 that we'll probably end up doing in a future video on this channel because it's WCW.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think you need to stay positive, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find that silver lining. It'll hit you like a sloppy Horace Hogan elbow drop. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to see other of the good, weird, bad, hopefully not this terrible wrestling tournament, you can check out the playlist on your screen now. That is Tim from Wrong Sports. I am Cheyenne from The Touchback. And if you happen to be the special guest referee in the WCW Tag Team Tournament circa 1999, just remember,
make sure you're paying attention to the match inside of the ring and not the wall of men outside of the ring.